line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
The beautiful skies of Charlotte, North Carolina's Concord, North Carolina. Charlotte Motor Speedway has now bringing us to the track and bringing us to the show. As Charlotte Motor Speedway is now here live in the not oval version, but the Roval version. It's time to see what the Shake and Bake Race League Next Gen Cup cars bring to the table, presented in part by our friends at the ButtKicker Company. Best in performance on feeling real tracks of the virtual world, the ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. And hello again, race fans, here on the show of shows. It is time to witness and bear a race. The absolute carnage and chaos that is the Charlotte Motor Speedway's Charlotte Roval, as we're about to see what goes down with these Next Gen Cup Series and the playoff drivers' championship hopes as they continue on with this final round of racing for their sake and troubles in round of 8. Here is your starting lineup for today's action here, presented in part by the ButtKicker Company. Lawrence Shaughnessy Jr. will be your starting command driver on his pole there with the outside. Spencer Clark with the 92. Row number 2 is Brad Ward in the 87s. Outside is Brody Gunter in the number 61. Or excuse me, that would be the number 87. Row number, or 01, excuse me. Row number 3 is going to be Luke Duran. The 5 is outside is the 101. That is Chris Wilty. Row number 4 is going to be Rocky Harpins, and the number 71's outside. The 96 is Brandon Sheffield. Row number 5 is then going to be Jason Jackson, and the 86 is outside. Is the 64 is Austin Derbyshire. Row number 6 then is going to pilot the Matt Kleinschmidt. The 16's outside. It is going to be the 44 there, Derek Whitford. Row number 7 is going to be the 81 there, Jaden Hobbs outside. And the 74, that's Daniel Walker. Row number 8 is going to be the 10 of Edward Kane, and finally Daryl Whitford in the 21, rounding out your field for today's action. A lap around the track, sealing their fate, sealing their drive. Trying to get the bugs written down on our end real quick before we get to the racing action here. Just trying to hurry up, see if we can get that cleaned out. It doesn't look like we're gonna have very much luck there, so. Don't worry, believe us when we say it, folks. We're trying to figure that out. Well, before we get to the action here, let's take a look at our track tech doc here. The Charlotte Roval, unique in its corners, unique in its bankings. Bank turns and bank corners, making it extremely difficult to work around and to dig your heels in on this track. The wheels will be spinning, the tires will be driving, and these guys will be lunging and launching every corner they can. Actually, part of this entire oval is actually used up as well, which makes it that much more tricky to have to figure out and get set straight on with. So, could make for some interesting goes here on the track, making some very tough rides here for everyone involved. Only the best will be able to figure out how to maneuver and master around these planes. Some of them including those very long-edged, kind of rotating corners, and then of course the butt stop that comes off on the back straightaway of the oval itself, to then lining up to that big ridge drop off of turn number 4 down into the final corner off. The chicanes are going to be tight, the turns are going to be wide and very tough to master. Look for a lot of drivers to be pushing their limits and pushing themselves far beyond their own use in this one. Lawrence Shaughnessy Jr. going to line them off to the field. Every driver for themselves here as the playoffs continue on. Championship stakes on the line. Lawrence ready to get at it, ready to get down to it. Off a corner number. Off the final corner we go. I'm just going to say we got to ride up and rallied up for the track. Flagman waits in command of the structure with 50 laps to the distance. Green is out. There's already trouble. Well, that didn't take long. Spencer Clark, the 92, already spinning it out, right out of control. Lawrence Shaughnessy Jr. in the wall out of the gate. Oh my. Oh no. Oh my. There is huge trouble down there. Matthew Kleinschmidt involved. Wild Bill Matthews, Jason Jackson, they're all involved in that one. And we're literally just getting through the first set of corners. What is going on down there? The 81 of Jaden Hopp is in the wall. Oh my goodness, I don't even know what the heck to say or what the heck is going on. All I know is that start was probably one of the wildest starts we've just ever seen here. Lawrence Shaughnessy is still driving, by the way. He went in the wall a minute ago. He's in third at the moment. How he is even able to still drive is beyond me. I don't even have the foggiest idea there. What on earth happened on that restart? We're going to take a look at that one. Good Lord, everything went completely wrong out of the gate. Let's take a look at it. Take a look at see what exactly transpired here. He went down on the start. We're going to focus in one car at a time here. This was Spencer Clark. Came off the start. Had no go there. Lawrence Shaughnessy Jr. Look at the lead he built up and then entered into corner number 1 way too hard. Ended up spinning him around. That was the 5 that went around there. That was Luke Duran. And then Jaden Hopp. This is what happened to him. Got tagged there by the number 10 of Edward Kane. Entering into that turn, and that was the end of it. That was your PT Mr. Replay presented by the ButtKicker Company, and I don't think any of these drivers are safe right now, much less even unaware of what the heck is going on down there. Even more problems down there. Austin Derbyshire has come to a dead stop here as well and had to refire. Problems for the 64. And somehow, someway, in the middle of this chaos, we have a new leader. Yeah, don't let your eyes perceive you. There is a new leader. Brody Gunter, he's your new leader in this one. Trouble there around the corner goes. More of a turns there. Brad Ward, one of the lone Canadians here in the 87, spins it right out, and problems there for him as he now has to refire. The bus stop caught him off guard. 5 of Luke Duran right now, moving and punching his way around the track, trying to make some moves off the corners. Every driver right now just hoping and praying they don't end up on the wrong end of the stick here. I don't even know where the heck they can go from here, though. I've seen chaotic starts here from demolition derbies and enduro races, but I don't think I've ever seen a wild start with a next-gen cup car at a road course like that, ever. Guess we just got to add it to the moniker and add it to the list of crazy races. Mad Brad looking to be Bad Brad here, and looks that's not what I meant though, Brad. Oh my! Daniel Walker just got completely spent, set, and turned around. And the Czech Jerks number 74, well, right about now, I don't think is going to be too happy here. I think that might actually be Mad Brad after all. I don't think he's a happy camper, and he just went and got Daniel Walker, it looked like, coming off that corner. Nah, the official's not going to worry too much about it. I think they're just going to worry about the race here at the moment, because at this point, it's just pure chaos out here. There's not a whole lot they can do. This playoffs in regard and in position, these guys are absolutely tearing each other apart. Well, two guys in the playoffs right now hunting down Brody Gunner, who is in that 0-1, would be Rocky Harpins and Brandon Sheffield. Both guys right now kind of keeping the pace and keeping the drive up. Good little battle here between Rocky Harpins and Chris Wilde here. Wilde trying to make some moves in the 7 High Side Motorsports camp. He's got a good run off there on that 71, sticking with his speed, sticking with his control. Everybody else right now just trying to find a way to just kind of survive and conquer out here. Daniel Walker, after getting that huge little spin, now being hunted down by Jason Jackson in the number 86. We go on board with him. You can hear the diffuser just dropping on that thing. It sounds like that entire back diffuser is just absolutely wrecking on the bottom of that hard surface there. Really, that's just the bumps going around for these cars. I'm not sure, but whatever it is, it does not sound good if you ask me. Stumbling around right now, Brad Sheffield keeping some distance. Chris Wilde taking over the spot there for Rocky Harpins. Got a nice little corner off there and taking full control. Spencer Clark, despite literally spinning out and then getting wrecked out, he's making a pretty good little comeback here. He's got Derek Whitford right in front of him here, making a little fight off. Doesn't seem to be phased too much by that there. Lawrence Shaughnessy Jr., by the way, right about now, I think he's just trying to find a place to hide. I think he might be not too happy with himself or not too happy with everything that went down. But on that start there, he actually literally just kind of wrote it off and then just went completely haywire and had nothing to control over it. Cool Breeze Racing teammates here going to go at it. Spencer Clark, Derek Whitford. And Clark going to get the advantage over Whitford, which actually gives Luke Duran a chance to move ahead. Not so sure Whitford appreciates his own teammate passing him by that quickly. He needs to kind of watch out for himself here and knows that he's got a lot of heavy hitters coming for him. When you're in that playoff grid, you're literally become a target. You are become what the drivers want, what they position to take. So hard cornering and some close calls there. Definitely got a little bit crazy there. So Brody Gunner right now, your Pennzoil 01 machine, currently your race leader. I think we'll get a look at him throughout this race, throughout this battle here from the track and perspectives here. Keeping his distance up, keeping his momentum alive as well. The rest of your field kind of separating out just by a slight bit. Jason Jackson, the 86, falling down one spot here, but staying with Edward Kane, the number 10, trying to keep with him. Kane has gone 6 spots up, so he is tied with your hard charger reward with Brandon Sheffield in that hunt. Just making the battle a little bit more interesting as they go along and trying to stay relatively calm, cool, and collective and not in a troublesome slate. But even you can see that the cars are already getting just a little bit tighter and a little bit harder to handle in through the corners here. They could play a factor later on. We can't say for certain. Times on these guys are 119s, 120s here. So fastest time actually was set at a 119.85. That was Spencer Clark, and the number 92. He started second today. Earlier on, just completely spun out in the corner, and now he's just trying to reel it back in and bring this thing back to life. And that Cool Breeze Racing 92 definitely is not warranting any favoritism on anything. Not even his own teammates. No offense to 44 Derek Whitford. Didn't mean to include him in a Cole Custer little situation they got going on right now in NASCAR world. But of course, I mean, speaking of NASCAR world, we did see the Charlotte Roval on display here. As I heard, it was pretty much kind of 3 hours, though, just a little bit slower pace until literally the last part of the race. And then I don't really know what the heck happened from there. Brad Sheffield, the 96, staying ahead of the field by a good margin with a Caden Strong's 96 Chevrolet on his side. As Chris Wiltie here comes out to try to take him on. A little trouble down there for Brad Ward. It looks like him's a bit of a dead stop there, a bit of a deadlock. Couldn't quite get it going through the bus stop, so he has to back off and go straight through it. That'll be resulting in a time penalty. That's why you saw him slow down so much and not get back on the throttle as quick as he probably could have. Sheffield with a little bit of company, though, peeking on his door handles here. Will he right now trying to find a move or find a passing line? Again, you'll see a lot of them really get that chance off the exits of some of these corners, and as well as pretty much kind of the long straights and those oval curved in turns. That's where most of these guys usually can make their pass at. Such a unique environment, such a unique layout to be able to perform at such a high level and yet work around it as much as you can. And here comes that move I was talking about earlier. When you get a chance to get to the straights, the corners, and the turns, this is where you make your passes at. Entering in quick. It's a drag race to the bus stop. Wiltie corners off and will get the advantage. Sheffield off by a slight error there. Made the mistake and did not stay in the throttle when he should have, and that was a big mistake. Sheffield knows playoff contentions are on the line here, as Wiltie is not holding back. Highside Motorsports' Toyota Camrys are going full charge, but it is the Mustang of Brody Gunter who leads the field. He started back and forth. He's moved it up to first, and he has not looked back since. Jason Jackson, the 86, right now kind of in the same boat, same place, same spot, everything for him. Nothing to worry about on his end for now. Matt Kleinschmidt right now in the number 16, staying up ahead of Edward Kane. Kane right now trying to dogpile him up a little bit, get a few more spots up. Kane started back in the 15, he's moving in the 11th, so he's staying right there with him. 16 and Kleinschmidt rocking the number I think many know for AJ Allmendinger's car. And with the recent news, he'll be returning to the Cup Series next season. Who knows what lies away for him. Drops down there for Jaden Hopp, and it looks like Jaden Hopp actually is done as well here, folks. Not sure what went wrong there. We'll take a look at the PTA Mr. replay and see what happened here to the 81 machine. And it looked like it came in a very unusual corner here. Take a look at it here. And yeah, you can see it actually went blank and broke. You can see pretty much kind of what the aftermath was. Slammed to the wall and parked it over there on the side, and he was done. The car was too tore up to be continuing on. What a tough break there for Jaden Hopp. Came out here, qualified so well, only just to kind of see his run completely overturned and destroyed in just a matter of an instant. Darrell Whitford kind of having some problems as well. The 21 Cool Breeze Racing not up there with his teammates like the 484 of Derek Whitford or his other cohort that is currently trying to run the gauntlet of the 92 of Spencer Clark, who just so happens to be right behind him. Now back off, get out of the way there, gets into the wall a little bit, and this manages to steer clear. Daniel Walker, even more troubles down there. It looks like he's got a right front jammed up. He slammed the wall hard. Don't know if he'll be able to steer it off or the car is done. It looks like that car is a little too hurt, I'd say. I think he's going to try to wheel it back to pit road at least. That'll be something to give him, but this track has all but tore up some drivers and made a bit of a change up on them. Field still stretched out a bit. Right now 25 seconds separating out Gunter and Wiltie in terms of first and second place. Brad Ward separated out by about 25 seconds from his position right now. Trying to hang with the field and trying to keep his playoff hopes alive. Derek Whitford trapped between kind of a rock and a hard place between him and his family member. And they're able to get around at least now, so that will help him out. coming up right on the back of Daniel Walker here. The 74 damaged up pretty bad from earlier on. Currently just struggling to keep this thing under control and keep it under march here. He knows there's a lot of problems going on down on the track for him and his team. Not helping his cause and not helping him out whatsoever in any way. He's just trying to stay out of trouble and hope for the best. And you can see backing off already down for the 484 Whitford here to let him on by. Pretty much just trying to pretty much kind of keep his cool, keep his composure up, and maybe hope for the best here. Brody Gunter right now absolutely just dominating though this race, continuing to march past and keep pace quickening up. Take a look at our lap time structure here, and you can see as well this is pretty much what they're looking at, what they are feeling overall. There is a little bit of a gap notice though, as you see that was actually Wilty that was able to bring him back in a little bit, lost it though later in. So can't quite pull the reins back all the way just yet. Needs to start figuring it out because pit roads are now opening up, and that will open up a lot of can of worms for these drivers. Wilty and Sheffield are going to stay out. Wilty actually going to get the race lead, so we have a new leader. See just that wide open strip there in that little area of play really opens the door up for a lot of guys to be making some moves and making some serious drives off and getting whatever they can do. Bit of a back drop here. Jason Jackson trying to catch Derek Whitford by about 5 seconds back here. He's seemingly kind of sticking to his gun, sticking to the momentum here. Trying to power plant his car right through the corners and right in through the beams and the turns. Hasn't quite been so successful yet. You can see just how difficult it is to kind of keep your momentum alive, keep your speed up as you compare it to like racetracks like the bus stop in Watkins Glen. Charlotte Roval, you're carrying so much speed, so much momentum. Once you start to really back her down and really get closer in off that exit, it makes for an impressive little corner off and a very tight little spot to have to work around. Many drivers knowingly have to set up and stabilize those cars as quick as they can. So with halfway done so far right now, the field currently starting to grasp up the track, starting to really pink up speeds here. We've got a great battle going on as well right now. Here for your race lead, Brody Gunter, Chris Welty going back and forth here. Brandon Sheffield trying to catch up to both of them here. This could be an interesting little case of fighting for position, fighting for track gain. Welty looking to try to get around him there and looking for an opening. Gunter trying to block him. Hughes drive off through the turn. Wilty has closed the gap. Got him parked on his inside right now. Gunter, after making the great drive off for the longest of times, having to deal with the pit road stops, now has to face up against that number 7 high side motorsports camp driver. Wilty not letting him breathe. Trying to stick to him there and keep the momentum and drive off. It is a close battle between the two. Something's got to give. Which one will it be though? Wilty looking to the inside. Gunter blocks him down low again. Entering into that bus stop. This is where things can get interesting here. Looking right through. No gimmies here. Nothing there. Gunter able to hold off just for a little longer. As the battle still rages on now, you can see Gunter has lost the lead from Realty T. Realty managing to take control of it. Now we finally got our mics back on. We had our entire power cord get disconnected here, guys. Everything was completely off. I didn't even realize we were still streaming until we were able to get this thing back up. Halfway done now. Oh, and Gunter with troubles through the bus stop. Oh my. Your former race leader losing it in the corner. And the bus stop bites another one here. Let's take a look at the replay. Caught the curbing way too hard, and once that rear end kicks out, no place to go from there. That'll set him back quite a way. Sheffield trying to get there to Wilty now, as Wilty now has to deal with from one to the other. Gunter completely left behind. Nowhere to go for him. Just makes it that much more tricky and more complicated to figure out. We'll go back to that little speed off and battle there between these two drivers. Brad Ward in the 87 right now moving his way to the chains up ahead. Luke Durand right now trying to hold off and hold on. Brad has been pretty much kind of the antithesis of Mad Brad today when it comes to his driving, and it's just absolute speed he's carrying through some of these corners. He is not having it today, that's for certain. 25 laps remaining here. We are getting closer and closer to an end result. But which one will it be, and who will be able to take this home, you wonder? With 24 laps left, really we have seen quite a few little showboats, little shots in the arms being thrown at these guys, and everyone right now trying to stay very close to the heart, very close to their game plans here, just to stay with this field, stay with this drive off. You can see though, everybody's starting to separate out further and further through the field. It is becoming much more difficult to work with and deal with here. Klein Schmidt right now still staying in that 11th spot here. It's where he qualified at. It's where he's going to kind of hang around for. Lawrence Dunetsy Jr. trying to make it a bit of a comeback stance here, and a bit of a comeback fight off the distance. Gets a good run off as JC Jackson starts to pull him ahead. Sheffield looking to rock and roll it up a little bit more. Everyone trying to stick in the paces, stick in the controls. Wiltie, though, after taking the lead away from Brody Gunter and keeping Brandon Sheffield behind it by a bit of a margin or two, that is helping out his cause and helping out himself for this one. 5 spots up for Wiltie, 6 up for Sheffield. Both drivers hard rounding and hard cornering to get through the rest and to take on the best here. Luke Duran in the number 5 currently in the 7th spot, down 2 spots from his position. He started 5th today. Looking like maybe he might be struggling to maintain a little bit of grip too with the car there. Looks like he's kind of trying to come to terms with everything that's going on. Rocky Harpins in the number 71 machine, coming right there for Brad Ward. Brad slowing down tremendously here as Rocky is building up a great bit of speed and great bit of battle back. Pit lane stops wise. Rocky's got a lap better of tires than Durant and Ward, if you will, by 1 lap. 87 went in on lap 18. Harpins on lap 20. That could make the difference here. I've been told before, though, the longer the tires wear and tear on road courses, the more it seems like they just get faster and better. It's a weird little predicament, a weird little circumstance there, but we have seen it plenty of times in the IRL stage where you actually have the car seemingly not putting down any rubber and almost pretty much making it much more difficult to make passes and make some clear-cut areas from. These drivers are well aware of that, and they're keeping a close tab and a close eye on all that to make sure they don't overachieve and under-excel when they need to here. It's a bit of a tough gap to climb and a bit of a tough drive to fight from, but that is exactly what you have to do to keep going in this playoffs bracket system. Laps left in this one. Bad Brad, call him what you will. He is trying to stay the course and stay the line as the rest of your field starts to really kind of peek in. Brandon Sheffield closing the gap on Wiltie here by a good margin of error. Wiltie had him by about a second and 6/10 of a second. 1.6 of a second, not quite enough though to hold back Sheffield. Sheffield is on a march and a charge. He's ready to ground and pound it up at the number 7 machine. Austin Derbyshire down there, a little bit of problems here as a 64. Oh, he's got more than problems. That burnt rubber television has got a right rear destroyed completely. That is not looking good. Derbyshire definitely in dire straits here. Let's take a look at the replay. Isn't it kind of ironic too? That was the same corner earlier on. Kyle Larson had completely damaged up the rear end of his car, destroying the rear differential, and as well as taking out the bottom layer of that car and end up costing him dearly for his own troubles. Edward Kane even having some problems down there as well. He finds himself in a bit of a bad spot. We had our cameras rolling on him as he was going right around 21 of Darrell Whitford. Overshot the corner and a la Kevin Harvick just last year, swimming into the barrier, and that right front locked up completely on the nose. Man, he has still got a problem too. He has not gotten that car straightened out whatsoever. He has still got a problem on that right front. It's locked up bad. It's even worse now. That's gonna pretty much do Edward Kane in right now. That right front is destroyed. He is disheveled. Pretty much at this point just forcing the car to go around the track and hope for the best. The number 01 car, Brody Gunter right now trying to get a comeback brewing, get something built up his way, and maybe some luck towards his game plan. He's had nothing but just hard racing issues and troubles to take it through today. Looking to change that now with this comeback story. Wiltie and Sheffield, they are separated out by only about 0.8 of a second. Sheffield doing a great job right now, staying in that draft, staying in that spot there where Wiltie is. Starting to close the gap off, really making this one a little bit more interesting. Oh, bit of a glitchcraft for Gremlin going on the attack on Brent Sheffield. Sheffield very careful here. He cannot have that happen or end up costing him this race in any way. He needs to be safe and careful here. Rocky Harpets, by the way, got around Brad Ward, now taking full control of the top 5 spot. He's 2 spots up, Brad 3 spots down. Could make for some interesting situational comebacks here. Realty trying to stay ahead of the curve, stay ahead of the march and the charge coming from that 96 of Sheffield and the Cadian Strong Chevrolet. But we go on board here with Wilty, you can see he is just reeling and dealing him every corner and every little angle. The only thing is he's just not able to find the perfect time to make that pass and make that drive off, and that's what the 7 is very appreciative of right now. Avoiding that situation, avoiding that circumstance here, knowing that it could come at any time. Bus stop so far has claimed quite a few drivers and claimed quite a few levels of the playing field, but at the same time I feel like it's kind of also evened out a lot of guys when it comes to that final draft off on the backstretch. Once you get through and you then can make your way through these tricky little corner bumps and all that, boy, does it make for something. Throttle rhythm so key and so on point here, just makes everything just seem like a shot in the dark or a little shot in the grass. Lawrence Hennessy Jr. in the number 9 High Speed Motorsports starting to make another comeback as well. That whole high side crew has either been in through some good luck or some hard luck today, and that has pretty much been the coincide situation. John Hennessy Jr. making a great little come through down into the bus stop. Here comes Whitford though, hanging on. And it will be Whitford going into pit road, so he'll blink first, giving Shaughnessy a chance to bring back the car and bring it back in. 16 laps remain. We're coming in close to the end. So we got to come in close to the end here. Look at this. A great battle off from lap traffic. Matt Kleinschmidt in the way of Wilty, and that cost him a lot of time there. Sheffield cornering him back and starting to corner him off. As Sheffield have some time to take control here. Wilty desperately trying to keep momentum and the push going. He's almost launching it through those corners there, and that's one thing he's got to be careful of. One wrong move and he overshoots it. He could be in deep trouble. And that would add even more problem and extra punishment to the name, the 44. Derek Whitford returning to the track. Playoff drivers right now looking closer and closer at the overall picture. I think Sheffield might have finally gotten those Glitchcraft and Gremlins to calm down a little bit, or at least settle down. Seems like it's working okay now. As we go to our spotter cam right now, what spotter's watching out from this view and watching from the driver's perspective, trying to keep an eye on them. This is what they're seeing and what they're telling them. As Wilty currently still holds Sheffield in the back of the playing field here. 15 laps racing to go. Pats fan, message us up on PT Racing TV on Facebook, and maybe we can talk there. Thank you for joining in, by the way. Laying him down, 14 laps to go. The gap closes even more. Everybody else right now just kind of foddering and finding whatever they can for speed and endurance. Some already laps down, some already pushed back around. Either way, this is turning into an absolute slobber knocker and a slugfest for some guys, and a hard race off for others. Pretty impressive here as the Roval proving again that it can perform at a high level and a high stake here when done right. 14 laps left to go. Gap switched off, closing in deeper into it. Look at this now through that bus stop. Look at this. Sheffield saw an opening. Didn't quite get the runoff though. It got to be a little bit tighter than that. Now he's going to try to pull him off down through into the final sector. This is where he's got to be careful through the other bus stop, and this is the chicanes. And you can even see that 7 was getting loose off there. He overpowered it. Tire spin just a slight bit, given the 96. More room to work with. He's making sure that 7 stays honest, but if Sheffield gets one little inside corner or one little right off, it could be game over for him. Try not to let him by, try not to let him through. He's getting so much run, so much momentum though kicked up. He is looking at it from all ends of the spectrum. Bouncing around, every driver for themselves here. Oh, my word. How they are able to keep those things online, on charts, beyond me here. Rocky Harbins, Brad Ward now going to deal with each other again. As you see, Kleinschmidt just right behind Ward. Kind of being the interpreter of peacekeeping, I guess you could say. Trying to make sure these drivers just face it out one-on-one instead of all over the place. Brad Sheffield has entered into pit lane now. Chris Wiltie able to stay ahead, but we'll see if that is going to be able to last long enough here. Jan Borobraki as he continues to stay in this one. Man, just listening to that the rear diffuser just bouncing around on that bumps there here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It just sounds absolutely incriminatingly crazy to believe, but that's how they set them down, and that's how they're set up these days. Brad Ward is down in pit road as well. The rest of the field, Edward Kane even started pretty well. Falling back just a little bit, going into the 12th spot. Damaged highly on that right front wheel. Had to suffer through that, and then had to get it back on the track and then race it out. Spencer Clark qualifying second. And then all of a sudden just kind of getting a little tail whipping, a little problem on his end. And Jaden Hopp, well, I don't want to say the same old song and dance for him, but the same corner and the same turn. This race has not been kind to him. Been giving him kind of what I just said there, in a very heavy dose in that same turn. Slammed the right front down. As soon as that right front broke, he was in trouble, and that was all she wrote. Marching down with 11 laps to go, we're closing off here with the final legs of this race. Coming off pit road, he's only got about a second and a half difference between him and Sheffield. He is on a fresher set of tires though, and a little bit more fuel than Sheffield, so that could make the difference here. Jason Jackson kind of being the fine line between the two. Sheffield driving a little too hard there. Couldn't quite keep the tires from spinning out. That's going to cost him a bit there. Time is of the essence here. Wiltie knows that. That's why he is starting to push his limits as hard as he can right now. Difference between Sheffield and Jackson starting to rear its ugly head. This is not looking good for that 96 cam. Came out here, was really trying to focus in on the strategy, focus in on his plans here, and now it seems like he's kind of lost a little bit of the corner and lost a little bit of his turn here. Looked around the number 5 here, blinking in and out of existence, unfortunately. His teammate, though, Lawrence Shaughnessy Jr. Well, the only thing he kind of did earlier on was just throw himself into the shadow realm. Not by really any fault he was trying to do. It was just an unfortunate situation, to say the least. Looks like more troubles for Edward King there. Looks like he might have grazed the somewhere around the bus stop there. Might have hit around the corners there in the curves, but doesn't seem to affect it too much there. Rocky Harmon's heading back into pit road. Spencer Clark making a great charge back. He's in top 10 territory. He's in top 3 territory with 10 laps to go. I'm honestly, if we get to talk to Spencer, I'm kind of curious to know what the heck he was thinking when he spun the tires on the first lap. I think it should be an interesting little conversation with him there. I don't think he'll be too happy about that other part I mentioned, but I don't think he'll mind talking about it too much. Just an absolutely wild little spot, to say the least. Two and a half seconds now separating out Wiltie and Sheffield. Here is the gap zone. Well, that time around, you can see Sheffield was making up some ground and some time, to say the least. No ground made there, though. But I wouldn't even give Wiltie the pleasure of saying that was ground gained for him either. I think they're about even, so they both got to stay hard on that charge and hard on that throttle and make sure they stay aggressive as can be to the track. With 9 laps to go, time is of the essence. Rocky still ahead of Brad Ward by a slight little bit here. By about 7/10 of a second, entering into the first corner. Looking to build up a power and build up a little bit of run there. You can see both drivers doing a tremendous job sticking to the lane, sticking to the track, trying to find an angle, an edge over the other. But again, it's not a lot of room for mistakes or really any areas to really be making too much of a charge off. Just makes for an interesting little ride out here, and that is what these guys are putting up against here. Probably the toughest tail here, to say the least, is that Pennzoil 1's Menard 01 of Mr. Brody Gunter. Came out here, qualified in 4th, had the race lever a good charm there, went to battle there, Wiltie, then lost it, and next thing you know, he was spinning out after the bus stop corner and putting himself back through the top 10, sensing himself to the span of the shadow realm. Nevertheless, though, has not given up on his place and not given up on his drive to win. Wiltie and Sheffield's story back in play here, and look at this, by a full second. This time Sheffield is starting to make the ground back up. This could set up for an impressive finish here. Both guys very fast and consistent here. Wiltie, though, actually slower by about a mile per hour compared to Sheffield, and Sheffield's on burnt tires compared to Wiltie. So Wiltie is really taking it very conservatively here, and I know that's not exactly what he wants to do, but he kind of has to. Being in that leader position, he knows it's going to be very difficult for Sheffield to pass, so you got to wonder, will he try to use any kind of tactics on him? But maybe he doesn't need to here. Runs into lap traffic there from Darrell Whitford. Darrell getting out of the way at least though, and giving these guys plenty of room to race it from here. The ButtKicker Next Gen Cup Series presented by the ButtKicker Company in the Next Gen Cup Series. The Shake and Bake Racing League guys have been putting on a show for quite some time here with us on P2 Race TV, really since we debuted here on platforms and on the showcases. And boy, what a time it has been and what a wild ride we have seen and become. For that, we thank every single one of you guys that have stuck around from day one. Without you guys, this show would have been nothing and this would not have meant a thing. But to these drivers and you guys, well, you made it mean something. Here we go now, coming up. Final laps remaining. We're down to 6 to go. 6 laps left. Sheffield, desperation time now, trying to maneuver Wilty. Shaughnessy Jr. just trying to keep ahead of the problem zone. Derek Whitford kind of crouched up in his own little area. Jason Jackson as well. Staying in the distance, staying in the drive. Brody Gunther going to lose another top 10 spot up. As Matthew Kleinschmidt gets a good little run off there. A little bit of a race it back. Darrell Whitford trying to stay out of trouble here. As Jim and Jason Jackson have got a problem on their own little end here. Jason Jackson spun out right in the corners of the inside part of the track, the infield track area. Jackson able to refire, but that slows down everybody big time here. Spencer Clark trying not to let the car overtake and overslip itself. Does keep himself out of trouble for the moment. He knows this race is done and over with for the win, so he's just going for anything he can do when it comes to trying to have the playoff contentions be something here. Top 5 going on your screen as they come forward for the final 5 laps. Sheffield right on Wilty and sends him around in through the part there. He'll have to do a time stop. But Sheffield causing the time shift there. Wilty has to slow down just a little bit. Sheffield going to try to get back there to him. Sheffield had the right mindset, but it was the wrong angle. He backed off when he had to, though. Wilty knew it, and he got back in the gas, so both drivers can continue their battle. This is hard racing right here, folks. Something's got to give. Which will it be? Sheffield right now, with how close he is and how far he is in the distance, he can really start to use that speed to travel through on the big oval turns. But that slam in the wall there almost costing him dearly. He did graze the nose, but it looks like the car is still okay to race. No damage on the right side. Car taking all the punishment and taking the glutton for it. Oh, that's how close they are. Look at Sheffield still trying to get around him. 2 heavy hitters going at it right now with 4 laps to go. Something has got to give. Which will make the mistake first? Sheffield made a mistake the last turn. Wilty had ended up giving him too much room and then thought it was a time to make the opening. That's not been the case yet. Through turn 1 and 2. Now down into the infield race center. The Bank of America Center now showcasing up some field and showcasing up some hard racers. Sheffield and Wilty certainly one of them as they try to master and maneuver around the tight ends in the corners up the top of the hill down the slope. Trying not to let the car break free and trying not to slow them down. I wonder though, is Sheffield starting to lose momentum? Did he slam the wall harder than he realizes? Wilty maybe also have saved up a little bit on the tire end on his race end, making it more difficult for Sheffield to catch him. It's hard to say right now. Both guys pretty much look beat and battered up a little bit. No one seems to have the advantage. Sheffield definitely seems like he's closed the gap off on the tighter corners. Wilty seems to be getting more speed on the straightaway, so I got a feeling that right front of Sheffield is damaged up slightly. The aero package doesn't seem to quite be generating as much power and speed as he was earlier. That now seems to be a huge factor, and it's really costing him here. That's been saying time for a turn bumper to come off. Well, those fenders may be used in a minute, that's for certain. Derek Whitford right now in the wake and in the way of these guys. He's watching on as he's just keeping a close distance from everyone else. Playoff contention's very much kind of getting closer and closer to an end result. Three laps to go. Coming for the edges, coming for the turns. Sheffield is right on his bumper still. Neither driver giving an inch, neither one giving out. Three now turns to 2 laps to go. This time on by a green flag high in the air. Sheffield slams the wall just a little bit. It's just some absolutely great, fantastic racing from every one of these drivers. We've seen the chaos from the start, then you saw the madness kind of popping in the middle, but now this is just full on hard battling for position and for a winner's circle end. Wilty trying to stick with it. Got to bring it right around here as Sheffield tries to hunt him down. About a second difference now. That's starting to close off the gap. Wilty using those fresher set of tires, using a little bit more of that fuel run. And of course that bump and run earlier failing from Wilty's end, actually giving him a chance to take Sheffield down here. Wilty never lifted when he got sinking for a little bump in the corner. Now he's using every bit of it here as we bring him to the white flag this time on by. Is there anything left from Sheffield? If there is, he needs to use it now. Gap is starting to close off. This is some good cornering. The 7 has got a great corner off and a great exit in the entries. This is their last set of corners here on the back half here. This is where Sheffield earlier on was getting a lot of speed to get around to Wilty. I don't think he's going to have time though. He's going to drive it hard here. He's going to drive extremely hard. I'll go. One last set of turns to go through. Wilty knows this is no easy challenge though. No easy task. Gonna lead him down. Checkers are coming out. Can he make the final turn? He will, and he will win it at Roval. The Charlotte Roval belongs to Chris Wilty. Brandon Sheffield, with an impressive back performance, comes away second. What a race. Wilty somehow, some way, survives. I honestly have absolutely no idea how the heck he was able to do it or how he was able to perform at that kind of level and that kind of stake for so long. But boy, did he excel when he needed to. Didn't even stop to give a burnout or anything. He just went right down and got out of there. He was just happy to be done, I think. Luke Duran going to be our final finisher. 5 will take 6th place here. Lawrence Hennessy Jr.'s teammate will be in the top 5. Jason Jackson, Gerald Whitford. They're all coming around for their last legs of the race. All but closing off the day's action. And with that, the race has officially been put in the books. Here is the finishers. Chris Wiltie managing somehow, some way to take this one home. Brandon Sheffield will go second. Spencer Clark goes third. Rocky Harper's fourth. Fifth to Lawrence Hennessy Jr. Sixth to Luke Duran. Seventh to Derek Whitford. Eighth to Matt Kleinschmidt. Ninth to Jason Jackson. And 10th to Brad Ward. They're rounding out your field. But, man, just what a wild, wild race from start to finish. And I think we couldn't have started any better off there with your race winner here today. Race fans, he joins me in victory lane now as he just pretty much parked that thing over here. Your number 7 here, Chris Wiltie, taking it home. Chris, I got to ask you, man, like, you had to come through quite a few corners and you had quite a few spots you had to put up. How were you able to even get this thing to make some good, clean passes, some hard racing ends on this end of the track here?
Yeah, it's a tough place to pass. There's only a couple spots, so I mean the lap cars were pretty decent, but yeah, we had some battles there early, so there was the chaos on the start, right? And so I got put behind a little bit, and then I made an early mistake, and so had to pass some cars, and just had some good battles out there with Brody and Brandon, and you just kind of got to bide your time and try to set them up, figure out where you're faster, and eventually make the move there.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like that was the case, but I mean, one thing we also kind of got to look at too. I mean, you had pretty much also gotten put into a bit of a almost conclusive disaster there as well. I mean, what the heck were you thinking when all of a sudden you just got kind of bumped and run there a little bit, entering into the final corner before we got to that final edge there between you and Sheffield?
Yeah, so the last pit stop, he tried to undercut me by a lap, and so I was pushing really hard on that next lap to make sure that he wasn't going to leapfrog me in the pits. And we came out, and I actually built up the lead to a couple seconds, so we're feeling pretty good. Maybe he relaxed a little bit too much. He started chasing me down, and then he got right on my tail. He was putting down some pretty quick laps, and so we had to get back on the wheel, and we're digging. And yeah, he had one good run into that final chicane, and gave me a little bump. And I had to straight line the chicane, and just I had a small slowdown there that I had to take. But either he got out of shape, or maybe he had to slow down too. I don't know, because we maintained the lead. But yeah, that was the clincher moment of the race for sure. But then we pulled back out from them, and then it was kind of smooth sailing last few laps.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, Wiltie, this one definitely going to be extremely big on the radar for wins here in your case. But as you come away at the end of the day, who do you want to thank for all this today?
Yeah. Shout out to Shake and Bake Racing. I've subbed in for these guys a few races. Good group of guys. It was fun to race with them tonight. Big shout out to Highside Motorsports, Bumper Thumper Traction Compound. Give a shout out to my teammates. Luke Doran had a good night, 6th. The boss, Lawrence Shaughnessy, finished 5th. He may have been the quickest car on the track tonight, but he had those troubles lap 1. So happy to stay in front of him. And quick shout out to Alan Wilson. He's in real life racing this weekend, so I got the seat for tonight. So appreciate him and hope he's doing well. And thanks to you guys for the broadcast.
Absolutely, Chris. Congratulations on a race win, sir. Well earned and deserved.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Wiltie going to bring this one home for his team there. Coming away with a solid performance and solid ends meets. Brandon Sheffield now joins us on the lineup here and on the list here. Let's listen in with him here in second place. Brandon, I know as soon as you kind of got out of that car there, I know you were kind of a little upset, but I mean, really nothing to be upset here when the second place finished, but a heck of a performance between you and Wiltie, man. I mean, what the heck was going through your mind there as you two just kept going back and forth for a hard charge?
Yeah, I mean, he drove away from me there a couple times, and I thought, okay, well, we'll get whatever points we can out of here. But then all of a sudden, I noticed the relatives start going the other way, and started to notice that as fuel burned off, it seemed like his car got worse and my car got better. So did the math and tried to figure out, how to put as little fuel in the car as I could for the last run, hoping that would make the difference, and let him get away way too far right after the pit stop there with a bad lap by me, and then just had to dig deep and try to reel him back in and bonsai every brake zone and try to get to him. And honestly, the one time I got there, my goal was to try to follow him through that chicane right before the start finish line and then try to get a run on him down into turn one. But I just misjudged how early he was going to brake and got into him, and wanted to make sure I gave him the position back. I didn't want to win that way. So it was a fun battle. I like racing with Chris. I have a lot of respect for him, and we'll take it. P2, we'll go on to the next round.
P2 on to the next round. And, really, one thing, too, we're going to kind of know about, too, is we got a lot of heavier hitters still to deal with in the next round. I mean, how difficult is it going to be for you in that playoff situation to go around with these guys?
It's going to be tough for sure. I do feel like that's a good round for us. I need to pull up and see what the races are, but I know Vegas is next week. I won that race earlier in the season, so I think we're going to have something good coming back there. Then we go to Homestead. I think it's another 1.5 miles. We've been pretty good there all year. And then I won Martinsville earlier in the year too. So I'm hoping for good things for us. I think it'll be a good round for us. I have the luxury of having quite a few playoff points to fall back on. So that's always helpful as well. So.
Absolutely. Well, nevertheless, though, Sheffield, is there anybody else you want to thank you for the second place finish today?
I got to thank you for putting the broadcast on. I always appreciate that. It's cool to get some exposure. I got to thank the Shake and Bake boys for putting this lead together. This has been probably the most fun thing I've done on iRacing to cover the whole series like we have and run all year. Good group of guys, very even field. I feel like a lot of different winners. It's been a good time. Also got to thank the GDR boys. We had some good runs tonight, I think. So on to next week. Thank you for the time.
For sure there. Brandon, congratulations, man, on the second place finish today. Brandon Sheffield coming away second place out of the field today for this one, and you can tell from his voice too, he was definitely feeling every ounce of it and every bit of it. So what a performance there for him and his crew. Third place today gonna go to Spencer Clark. Not seeing him on the roster for the moment. Trying to see if he is going to join us. I think we're gonna give him a second here, but nevertheless, if he doesn't join us, then we appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning on in tonight and showcasing on the track. We love and appreciate you guys all so much, and very much appreciated there. And I'm not seeing Spencer around here, so it looks like he is not going to be joining us here, it looks like. So I think we're going to be calling this one a trace and calling it a day. But nevertheless, congratulations, Spencer, on a good performance to come back into third. Hey, race fans, thank you so much for tuning on in here today for the ButtKicker race here for this Charlotte Roval. Big thank you to them. Thanks to all the support and friends out there. And we'll see you all next time when the green flag flies here on PTM Racing TV.
With the ButtKicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. ButtKicker. The future is feeling.